The following program is a production of All the Way Live Entertainment.
This show is sponsored by APCW Wrestling Academy. Learn wrestling from WWE Hall of Famer Robert Gibson. If you're interested in becoming a professional wrestler, contact them at 770-871-5417 or online at apcwdouglasville@gmail.com. Also, buy Collar and Elbow brand. Save 10% on your next purchase by using our discount code WPNRUSSELL. That's WPNRUSSELL at checkout and get a discount on great collar and elbow products.
You know, and we all have our 15 minutes of fame, and I'd like to take a couple of my 15 minutes to talk about the rights and the wrongs in the world of professional wrestling.
WWE Championship.
This match is for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
The World Heavyweight Championship.
The match and new NWA Heavyweight Champion.
We appreciate you guys coming out and taking your time to support women's wrestling in America.
This match is for the AWA World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
On tonight's podcast is the primary management voice of women of wrestling. She's the self-professed greatest attorney in the world, Sophia Lopez. And on the show, she's represented former Wild Champion Lana Starr, the former Tag Team Champions Cage Heat, and she has provided us a little bit of a bonus, Azucar. We're going to call her
Yay!
the Master Marvel, who has been on the, I want to say, the second season of WoW. She is joining her today, which I know that is kind of pulling back the kayfabe curtain. You're having a babyface and the heel in the same spot, but we're not gonna dwell on that too much. So you out there in podcast land, you got a little bit of a bonus. If you've ever wanted to know some good stuff, hopefully I will get the questions that you wanted to know out of both of them tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, Sophia Lopez and Azucar. Ladies, how are you?
Good. Great.
All right.
Excited to be here.
Well, I am very happy to have you both. So I'm going to try to, cut this down the middle here. Let's start with the wrestler of the bunch, and then we'll move to the manager. Azucar,
Okay.
how and why
Yes.
did you get involved in the crazy world of pro wrestling?
Well, it's funny because I'm also an actress.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually answered a casting notice that said, "Do you want to be a real life superhero?" I'm like, hell yeah! Who wouldn't want to be a real life superhero, you know? And I by the time I was training Muay Thai, and I had been training for 5 years, many hours a day, and I got to the audition and I saw all this wow world, and I automatically fell in love with it. And then I got a call back, and when they gave me the call back, I'm like, no, I am going to stick to my culture. I am going to wear a mask, and you're going to take me. And
Nice.
they did.
Okay, so the mask was your idea specifically?
Yes. Yeah, I created Azucar from the beginning. They were like, "But why do you want to cover your face?" And I'm like, "It's not covering my face. It's keeping my culture. I'm Mexican, born and raised in Mexico City, and I used to go to Lucha Libre, and I was like, you need this." You know, Mexico is now, we've always been neighbors, and we have a lot of Latin Hispanic cultures here, and I cannot just wrestle without having the weight of who I am, you know?
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay, so
And I wanted to be on that thing.
so we have established that you were the creative force behind that character. And now the other side of the fence, Ms. Lopez, who has quite the title that you walk around with, the greatest attorney in the world. That's quite the statement. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever actually gone out of our way to try to prove that or not, but I'll take your word for it that you're the greatest. How did you take your journey into the land of WoW.
You know what? Like, I wanted to be a superhero because I was like a brand new mommy.
Hmm.
So I had two little kids, and I was like, well, I love sports. I love spring sports. I used to risk everything all my life. So then I thought, I really want to be a superhero for my kids. And so I met David McLean. Same thing. He was on the search. He was, scouting girls here and there, trying to find that perfect match for his vision. So I met him, and when they explained, the whole process and the wrestling, I literally chickened out and was like, you know what? Forget it. Like, nice to meet you. I'm going home. And then they were like, Selena Major.
She came running and she's like, I have my soul on a string. I have my soul on a string. And I was like, everybody's looking at her like, what's going on? She's trying to talk to David. And I'm like, oh, I think she's hanging by a thread.
Oh, that was
It was a literal translation from Spanish,
ah.
and it was a wonderful moment. I remember it very well when she was walking in, and she's like,
Yeah, Azucar was laughing because, we have that saying, and I just wanted to translate it directly from Spanish to English, and it didn't make sense. But the only one that was able to know what I was talking about was Azucar. So we connected, actually, in that moment, I think. And, literally, I said to Selena, no, thank you so much, David. Nice to meet you. I'm going home. But then Selena asked me, like, why? Why would you? And David, he says, why would you say no? Like, why? And then I said, I don't want to get hurt because, I have two kids. They're very little, and I need to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
So and Selena looked at me on the eyes, and she told me, I won't let that happen. Like, I won't let you get hurt. Like, would you trust me? I'm going to train you girls. And as you said, I took her word and then I did it. And I was, okay, sign me in. And I started going to all like that training.
Mm-hmm.
And every single day I was saying, tomorrow I'm not coming back. Tomorrow I'm not coming back. And we were training for hours. It was like, I don't know, 6 hours, 5, I don't know. But, like 5 hours a day. But my body was hurting, like from the top of my head to my toenail, everything. I was like bruises all over my body. And, the adrenaline was so amazing, so beautiful that's the reason I kept going. Like every single day, I was, tomorrow I'm not coming. And the next day I was there. And I was there and I was there. And it was amazing because that adrenaline kept me going. It was so much passion. Like to put like a foot inside that ring was like a lot of respect. There was a lot of I don't know. I'm speechless to express my feelings at that moment.
Okay, but that little story was funny. That a saying got lost in translation, but I guess that's not uncommon. You know, you you
no.
have you have little things that are said in one country or another, and then you leave outside of that, and it doesn't really make sense anyplace else. So for for
Absolutely.
those that are listening, I guess the biggest example that I could think of that might help illustrate that point is the movie All the Marbles, which is to tie it in, which is a female wrestling movie starring Peter Falk. I think it was in the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there. But outside of the country, they couldn't use the name All the Marbles because All the Marbles is an American idiom. It doesn't make any sense once you leave the country. So they just renamed it
Right.
California Dolls. So that just a little garnish to that story that didn't say.
Cherry on the cake.
There you go. Just adding a little on that. So I'm hearing that Sophia, you actually did train in the ring at some point, but
Yes.
we haven't seen you in the ring. We've seen you basically be the mouthpiece for Cage Heat primarily. So,
She's really good with her mouth.
You know what? Like, they throw me here and there, but everything has a meaning and a purpose. The whole point was to build a character. Actually have the audience like dying to see me fighting. At that point that with as you said with my speech, I could say anything, right? And then at that point, like all the audience will be like, well, now either we want her to get like beat up, or we want her to see, we want to see her like fighting, wrestling. So it was about building the character, and also I had that part of the chicken out, because as I said, like I kind of chicken out. So then, like on training, it was amazing, like how I saw like a girl from zero to start like, these kicks and side kicks and everything. And I was missing a lot of training. So then I thought, I don't think I'm ready. What should I do? And I really wanted, as I said, I'm not a quitter, but I wanted to quit, to be honest. But Sophia Lopez, that's why I'm the greatest attorney in the world, because I will never quit. Like, you need like to take me down, you need to kill me, you need to do something. But so yeah, I actually wanted to, but everything started with Loca and Delta. I was like also training with Loca, and I really connected with her for the whole Hispanic side. And I said, I really want to defend these girls. So yeah, if I'm gonna fight, I don't want to fight them. I want to defend them. And then we came with the idea of start being like their manager and the public defender. And I kept going to training, and I was exercising. I was doing Insanity. I was doing so many other things at the same time. The first show came in Vegas. And as I said, this is surreal. Like, I mean, people think like you train and then you have all this choreography and everything is fake. I was like, seriously, guys, that is not fake. Everything can happen on that ring. Like, I mean, if someone doesn't like you, they won't come. They'll do whatever they want on the show. Maybe not like somewhere else, but on the show is the moment to shine, and they'll do whatever they want. So yeah, like David, everyone said, yeah, she's great. Let's start with her like as a public defender. And I have my background with the university, with all that. So we use it. Why not? And that's how it was born on the wrestling community. And I love it. And as I said, everything was to build the character. And who knows? Maybe I'll give you a surprise, and I'm going to end up with a match. My worst enemy.
I'll take you.
Oh, really?
No, I want to make alliance with you, like
I know. Still, I'll take you.
Okay. I mean, are you listening? Who wants to fight the greatest attorney in the world? Why not? Maybe we should start a fight right now.
Yeah, let's bring the system down.
Well, y'all don't want to start a fight right now, because then WoW will miss out on it, and nobody else will see it except for the two of y'all. And if you're gonna have a wrestling match, you got to sell the tickets, right? That's the
and
whole
it's
point.
going to be on the ring.
There you go.
We need the ring for that.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Now, Azucar, let's go back to you for a moment here, because I'm going off of memory, but I don't believe I saw you beyond season 3. Am I remembering right, or help me out here?
No, you're absolutely right. Well, when we were about to start the next season, I got pregnant.
Ah, wow.
So I was very pregnant, and I could not make it to the ring. And I was actually going to make an appearance with my big belly, my huge belly.
Well, how are you going to?
Didn't hire me. She didn't hire me, so that didn't happen. I was like, you know what? If you don't hire me, like, it's not happening.
Yeah, no, it just, I truly was. I was going with my mask, and I was like, I was going to bring my baby, but then my baby came before that, so it was not. It was like literally a day before, so I could not come in with my huge belly
well,
to the show. So now I'm taking a leave of absence. Let's see, probably soon. they'll see me back. I have to call David.
Well, you know, the joy
What's going on?
of being masked is that you actually could have shown up there. You just take the mask off, nobody would know who you were. Just sit in the front row.
Yeah, but the whole idea is like, I didn't. Yes, you have this whole thing, but if you go to the ring, if you go to see a match, you are part of this family and this community, I think you want to be there for who you are. I have so much respect for the ring and for WOW and for these events that I would show up as Azucar with my big pregnant belly. Why not?
No, but remember, she was in labor, so she couldn't
At that time, I was in labor. But no, absolutely. It was just like they called me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm pregnant. I don't think I can bump and get clotheslined and and do all these crazy things. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Suplex maybe, but
No.
This might be a little.
I mean, I'm pretty sure your child would not have appreciated that, even if they couldn't articulate it at the time. That probably wouldn't have been the best thing. So
I know. Even though he loves wrestling right now, he's a little bit older now, and he just loves roughing rough play. It's a lot of fun.
Well, see, that keeps you still in practice. You can roughhouse with the kid, and then when it's time, you can make your return. Speaking of which, is a return imminent?
Is a return imminent?
Yes.
No. We have not. We don't know. It's not like, yes, for sure, I'm starting this date, but we'll see. I love and respect the ring so much that I want to go and give it 100%. Now, being a mom changes priorities a little bit, so I am debating how much my priorities have changed, and because if I go in, I go 100% in. Because I was gonna say, Sophia said here, it is a lot of work, and it's a lot of pain, and it's a lot of tears. I remember it hurt to sleep the first 10 days. It was just absurd. My hair hurt. It hurt to blink, and I was very fit. I mean, again, I was training 4 or 5 hours of Muay Thai a day for the last 5 years, and I was at the peak of my physical achievements, and it was still so much pain. I remember we had pictures with our bruises from hitting the ropes. They were like, we all had our bruises in our butt, and we had pictures of all like proudly showing our bruises. That was the 3rd day, though. The 10th day, I was like, Selena was like, why aren't you bumping? I'm like, I can't. I just physically, psychologically, emotionally, my soul cannot take another beating like this. And she said, go take a couple days off, come back. And I left that place, and I was taking the metro home, and I was walking and crying. You know when little kids cry because they're so tired?
Yeah.
They just go like,
kind of whining.
That was me all the way home.
Oh.
And then I rested for 2 days, and then I was okay, and then the pain was never that bad until Frost threw me against the ring, but that's a different story. Completely different story.
Well, let me just interrupt that for a moment to give a quick plug here for anybody that wants to hear the Frost interview. That is sitting in the archives. Quite an aggressive young lady, but you know what can I say?
Yeah, she was impressive. She was not the best sport ever, but
she wasn't. And you know what? That's one of the reasons. Like, I mean, going back to your question, if she's coming back, that's one of the reasons I'm here, because I'm trying to persuade Azucar to come back, because I actually fall in love with her character. So it was like, Sophia Lopez really, really wants to represent her. So I'm trying her to go back so she can be one of my clients, but we don't know.
Well, see, now how are you going to accomplish that? Because Azucar, if I remember, was babyface. Sophia Lopez for all intents and purposes, is heel. She's represented or aided and abetted with Lana Starr. She's represented Caged Heat. I'm sure, both of you being actresses, you could probably appreciate the theory of the writer that the villain never recognizes himself as a villain, but still,
Of course.
Yes.
No, of course. It's absolutely. And the thing is, like, my beef with Frost was inside and outside the ring. There's no doubt about it. And yes, I'm a babyface. And precisely because of that, there's so much friction with Frost. And it is what it is. If Frost were to be back, I would definitely go back just to beat her ass.
Yeah, but also going with your question, Sophia Lopez, I'm a mastermind. I have to go for what works for me, for whatever is good for me, and having Azucar, even though she's a baby face, I can betray anyone. I don't care. She's Hispanic, so I'm related, and I know the culture. So I will have more people on our side, and I can always turn her as a villain. Like, she doesn't have to be baby forever. And you know what? She has a lot of, she has the little Canela doll that I can sell. She has a lot of potential, with the merchandise, with the autographs. I can explode her. I can explode all of her, the mask, the brand, everything.
So you are really living this thing. You living the Sophia Lopez gimmick up and down. Listen to you. You like, I could exploit her. Woo! That's
Yep, that's about right.
Okay.
That is what makes her the best attorney in the world.
Yeah.
I turn seriously. I don't know if you've seen the matches. People were cheering at the same level or more for Cage Heat than the All American Girls, and that's because I was in front on the ring cheering for them and tell the audience and the public that they need a second chance. So I think people love Cage Heat, even though, we've done amazing things with Cage Heat.
Oh yeah, I have seen all the matches from WoW original season up to present, and I've on my channel done reviews for the matches. I've been critical of some, been generous to others, but I've seen them all. So just putting it out there so there are no surprises. But yes, I've seen all the
So
matches.
that's it. I have that power to turn the audience wherever I want. So that's one of the reasons. If I can turn the audience, I can turn Azucar. So I'm working hard on that.
Well, now I will say I did watch a match. It's like, they didn't give enough camera time to the manager. I want to say that was the first match with Cage Heat returned. I might have saw you walk out with them, but then beyond that, I was like, okay, I don't see her anymore. I was a little disappointed about that, because I was like, you got a manager, you got to see the manager and see what she's doing. Now the second go round, that was a different story. I saw you out there doing all the business, just yelling and screaming for her, like, look at him go. I was like, okay, well, there she is. Now she's in business. But I have to rewind this conversation a second to back to the Frost deal. So Azucar, this is for you, because don't think I didn't catch what you said. You said that there was kind of problems in and out of the ring. Now, are we talking legitimate heat, or are we talking about storyline heat?
No, legitimate heat.
Yeah,
legit.
Okay.
There's no. Yeah, no, legit.
Okay, now I wouldn't be me and do my job if I did not ask. Is this just clash of personality or something along those lines? What where did the heat come from? And I asked that solely because it's not the first time I've come across that situation behind the scenes, so to speak. Here I'm of course on the other side of the coast. I'm in Atlanta, and I cover a lot of the independent wrestling in this end. And there are some ladies that have just flat out told me, I do not like this person. I won't go into names on this podcast right now because it's not about that. But I'm just saying, in that case, I understood where it was from. Where do you think that stemmed from between the two of you?
One, she takes her character and her whole thing to real life, which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, you do whatever you want. But that's one of the things. And then the other is, it's just, yes, there are heels and there are baby faces, but at the end of the day, it's a sport. And there has to be certain respect.
Yes.
And not just respect for your friends and your enemies, respect for the sport, for the arena, for the referees, for things that happen, for mistakes that could happen or not happen, and all these things. She did not take them in consideration, and she was full on frost, but it was like it became everything about herself. And when you are in a place like WoW, when you're within a company of these people, it's not just you. It's something bigger than you. It's WoW. It's not just you and your character and what you can do. It's the whole. It's WoW as a whole. And in my perspective, she did not respect it, and that made me lose complete respect for her. And I mean, it was a situation that happened behind scenes that I'm just not gonna talk about. But I lost complete respect.
Okay.
And I mean, I respect my friends, I respect my enemies, and that was, I just lost respect, and with that, just everything.
And I was a witness. We all became the characters, but that is true. There is limits, and she crossed those limits. So that's why I agree with Azucar.
Okay. Well, I mean, I sincerely doubt that Frost will reappear in WoW. I mean, just based on the interview that I had, and that might have been, gosh, when did I talk to her? About 2 years ago, I think.
Yes.
You heard that interview?
I heard what happened. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think I doubt that you're gonna ever have that cross those paths again. At least not under those circumstances. But I am sorry that y'all didn't mesh as well. But I know there are a lot of varying personalities that enter into the crazy world of wrestling. Yes, I know WoW is kind of a universe unto itself, but it's still wrestling.
Yeah, no, and it's not just within wrestling; it's in life.
Hey.
There's people whose values you just do not agree with, and that's it. You can have whatever values you want to have, but that's why you hang out with people that have your same values.
Wait a minute, you're talking too much as a baby face, and I want to turn you to be a villain. So I think I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, this is gonna be hard. Like he's too baby face.
It requires more than a dinner.
So Sophia, you're definitely trying to acquire new talent. Is this the role? I mean, I know you can't unveil everything that's been done or storylines or anything like that. But let's try to give a little bit of a teaser here. Are we going forward with Sophia Lopez trying to get new clients in her, in her entourage, so to speak?
All the time.
All the time.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, Sophia Lopez is unpredictable, but yeah, I'm all for it, and I see the risks, I see the people, I study the people, I know their weaknesses, I know pros, cons, and definitely.
Now I'm about to cross the line into real life, and we're going to blur it between wrestling and real life a second. I have noticed that you got some 50 acting credits to your name. right now. So, I mean, that's quite a bit of work that you've been doing in the acting world. What would make you continue on in a wrestling capacity when clearly you could just be in front of the screen and doing movies and TV and whatnot? Uh, what's the motivation there?
To be honest, the motivation for me is David McLean and Selena Majors. Like, I have so much respect for both of them, and I really want this to happen even bigger for them. Like, if you could, just live or experience the passion that David and Selena have, I fall in love with them, and it's kind of like over the cliff. Whatever it happens, I'll do it. I'm here, and that's one of the main reasons. That's my motive, and yeah, I just love them. They're amazing. They're amazing, and I don't know if you ever watched the movie The Greatest Showman with Have you seen it?
Hugh Jackman. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, yeah. He gave us a family. It's exactly like that movie. Like, you can see David McLean as a Hugh Jackman, and he really, like a lot of the girls, they were going through a lot of things, and I don't know, he showed up on the right moment, and he gave everyone a family. So that's why I'm still loyal, and that's one of the reasons.
Sweet. Now Zucar, after that's quite a sales pitch you just gave, Zucar. Now, if that don't make you go back, I mean, what else will?
No, absolutely. If there is one reason, like, wrestling still in my mind and in my heart, is because of David McLean and Selena Mayers. It's just the passion, the love, and the level of commitment. It's just like outstanding. So, I mean, they still have a huge spot in my heart, and I respect them so much, and I love them to death. I mean, so I don't know. It's just all in the works.
Okay. I did get the opportunity to talk to one of your colleagues, and I guess in Sophia's case, one of her clients. That would be Cher. For those that's listening out there, that would be Loca. And I like to toss out little stuff here and there. And I believe in somewhere in that conversation, I asked her if she had ever wrestled not outside of WoW, but when WoW went off in 2001, did she try to continue on? And she, of course, unveiled at the time that she had gone into wrestling school, but ultimately she had settled into this acting. But I bring that up to ask this. Now, you clearly both enjoy wrestling. I know that there's loyalty to WoW. I'm not, and I'm certainly not going to rock that boat or anything like that. But has it ever come up to you that's like, you know what? I think I'd like to go train here and work an independent show or something like that.
I train when WoW was, like on hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
I trained in another place because I thought, this is so much adrenaline. I'm doing great. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to go back to the pain and many other reasons. But even I was traveling back and forth in Mexico. So I even told David, I think I'm going to go into a lucha place and try to find like different, training over there because I don't want to lose it. So he's like, just be careful, gotta be careful because in Mexico, they're hardcore. And then I was like, yeah, don't worry. Actually, I have a friend that she does lucha in my hometown. So I was like, I'm going to find her and I'm going to start doing lucha over there. Just, to don't lose it. And then a friend invited me and Azucar to go and check out like Lucha Underground. And even though it sounded like cool, it sounded like, it was attractive. I mean, at least for me, I cannot speak for Azucar, but for me, it was like attractive. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Destiny just didn't let it happen for one or another reason. I actually moved to Texas at that moment. And even though it was something inside of me that I was like, this sounds cool, the Lucha Underground as well, blah, blah. But then I was like, I don't know. I was like, but but and just for me, it has to be 100%. Like if I put a but, it's like, what's the point? And as I said, it wasn't for me because destiny called me for a different journey at the moment. But Azucar, the same. She had different offers, and she can talk about them.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got invited to check out Lucha Underground, and then there was another project, and I was just waiting for WoW, and then the baby happened. So I was just like, I didn't want to leave WoW. My sense of loyalty was big because I owe them a lot, and it's not that I owe them that I don't do it. It's more like they're my family, and they are the people that I wrestle for and with. Now, I did do a couple movies playing a wrestler.
Oh, really?
And I did a couple of things. So, yeah. I can't say which ones because then you might find my name there. So,
yeah, she's incognito. You still, no one
Protecting
knows
the gimmick.
who Azucar is.
yeah.
Okay.
But that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun because I ended up coming in, and they were like, yeah, we're going to have like a stunt person, and they're going to do the whole thing. So, and I got there, and these were like actual like fighters. And I'm like, no, guys, I'm sorry, but when it comes to wrestling, you have no idea what you're doing. So I ended up choreographing the whole thing, and it was in a boxing ring, not in a wrestling. Yeah, it was rough. It was rough, but it was a lot of fun, and that keeps me smiling.
Well, that's because I don't know. People outside of wrestling just look at the ring and assume that any ring is a good ring and it's all the same, which isn't true. So,
no.
Yeah, but you only learn that once you have at least walked into a wrestling school once or twice, or put the ring together or something like that. So, yes, there is a difference, boys and girls out there in podcast land.
There's a big difference, and if you're trying to do it, you better research a little bit because you can get really busted really easy if you don't do it in the right setting.
Oh yeah, now make no mistake about it, a wrestling ring can still break you. We've seen that over the years. I've been watching this a long time. I've seen gruesome injuries take place in the wrestling ring, which of course, nobody was wanting to happen, but it did. But it does have a little bit more play to it than a boxing ring because boxing rings aren't there for you to be falling on, not typically. So yes.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, there has been like El Hijo del Perro Aguayo that I'm still so sad about.
I know.
But anyway, sorry.
yeah. Don't bring it down now.
Yeah, don't cry. I mean, I'm telling you, she's too baby face. I don't know. I might go back and just, stay with Cage Heat and then look for new clients.
Well, you have to make a storyline out of it. You have to make a storyline out of your efforts to turn Azucar, but she's got to be there first. She's got to be there first for you to make that effort and try to get her over to your side. See, look, now that's one thing I do per podcast. I am always pitching these stories and angles, and I'm giving them out for free. These are free storylines.
They're good.
Take them while you get them.
They're good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll flesh that out a little bit later on because that's the whole gimmick of the podcast here. Gotta help fire out a quick angle or two. Excuse me, had to get that out. But now you both brought up Lucha Underground, but Lucha Underground, for all intents and purposes, I would say is similar to WoW in that it's a kind of a TV storyline based pro wrestling product. Has it ever come to you? Have you ever been approached? Have you thought about the wrestling on the independents like
oh God, no.
No.
Sorry, but I have so much respect for all the indie world. It's crazy. It's amazing how little they get paid sometimes, and how far they go, and all the things and sacrifices that they make for their sport. I have to say, between like the difference between me and them is I am not that brave, and I don't have that much of a love and passion. For me, WoW was like a godfather, right? And I was godfathered into the sport, and I was kind of safeguarded a little bit from everything, from the reality, and I was being taken care of. These girls and guys, it's rough. It's really tough out there.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
I mean, it's really tough, and they really go like so far. And I mean, I do it in acting. In acting, I have this ferocious hunger for acting that, yeah, I go to great lengths to go to the audition and to get everything done. But the pressure that they put their psyche and their body in, it's just absolutely amazing. And I don't have the balls.
Yeah, for me, if they need like a lawyer, of course, maybe I can make a deal and I can get more money for them, because for real, it's hard. It's a hard business, but the passion is what keeps you there.
And then we're from them.
I know, right? Well, the money, like, I need my commission, of course. Of course, they're gonna earn more. But yeah, as a lawyer or as a defender, I'll do it. I'll be there for, I never decline a good client, so why not?
Okay, well, now I ask because you get WoW has a couple of what we used to call indie darlings on the show, and now I know a couple of them moved on since that time. But you're talking, and I'm only speaking of the ones that I know by their indie name, like Barbie Hayden, who I guess is Abilene Maverick there.
Yes.
Jessie Bell Smothers, which I got a couple of matches of her. Amber O'Neal, who was wrestling here in Georgia, got a few matches that produced with her. Santana Garrett never produced any match with her, but you can go on and on. Candice LeRae, Holly did. I know that she came in and did a spot or two. So I mean, I know that they're there, and I know that you guys have access to kind of talk to them and pick their brain and see how that whole deal worked. But it is great.
I hope
that you said that you had the respect for it. I mean, I have to appreciate the fact that I don't need to be doing that because my passion isn't that strong for that world of it.
And I hope WoW succeeds like in great lengths, and that we get all these indie darlings within WoW, and that they take better care of them, because they deserve it. They have earned it with tears and blood and sweat, and they really deserve it. And I truly hope that this goes that this just explodes, and there's more places for them to be better paid, better fed, better treated, give them a nice hotel to stay in, all these things, and a place to recover.
Or you know what, there's really protection. They need, I was talking to Jesse Jones or Amber O'Neal, and seriously, in some places that they're hardcore, seriously, they need to run for their lives. And this is not a joke. It's the audience really, they're involved, that they end up hating them, and they really need just to have some protection to get to their cars or things like that. And sometimes not even that. And as you said, I was picking their brains, and then they were telling me all these amazing stories, like how people want to beat them up outside of the arena or the place.
Oh yeah.
And it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's
that balls. That's my they have big balls.
Well, again,
I don't know if I can curse, but
that there's you bring up Jessie Bell and Amber O'Neal and the people that you talk to and pick their brains about it. On my channel, Women's Pro Wrestling Network, free plug for me. If you go back a couple of years, that there's a tag team match with Jessie Belle Smothers, and who was she tagged with tonight? Queen Destiny was her partner, and they were, by the end of the match, I think Jessie had worked certain people in the front row up into a lather, so to speak. And I'm pretty sure if that woman in the front row could have gotten her hands on Jessie Belle, it would have been a problem. But yeah, those things happen. She that is the world of wrestling.
Yeah, and I have to say, that part of it, I think it's part of the beauty of wrestling. When you get people so into it that they just want to jump in. That was me when I was a kid. I was like, what? What did you do? And my mom would stop me. But, yeah, I think it's like that, again, as you say, that is part of the whole thing. And, yeah, it can, like, within the show, it can get ugly. But outside and behind the scenes, it's also, like, a lot of things that they should be getting that they're not. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the main thing.
Sophia, you know, every man, I know, technically you're not a manager, but you essentially, you play one on TV. So every manager has basically been forced into the ring at some point. You know, it's the old, hey, if I beat Cage Heat, then I get 5 minutes alone with Sophia Lopez. Or
I know, right?
Or something like that. So I say that to say this. I expect for Sophia Lopez to get into the ring or be forced into the ring at some point in time. Are you ready for that?
You know, I'm always ready. Like, seriously, like, I'm always ready. No matter what, I'll do it. Like, you know, yeah. Like, the show needs to go on, so.
Okay. So you're ready to do your managerial stuff and get in that ring. Now, I looked at, in preparation for this, I went back and saw a couple of videos. Now, the then All-American girls almost got their hands on you before Cage Heat came, saved the day, and pulled you out of the ring. But, you know, they were like a hair away from doing a double drop kick or something like that.
Yeah, but you know, that's the reason they don't have the belts anymore. Like, you know, like, if you want to screw up with Sophia Lopez, like, you're going to lose, you know, one way or another, and now we have those belts.
Well, okay, now I think you might be getting a little bit ahead of what's going on, because last we saw that there was tag team tournament. Ain't no belts. Ain't no champion.
Well,
Sophia.
you know, it's all good because we always get them. I don't know if you remember, like, when we actually, I think Locas told them, and then they were, like, just crying like babies trying to get them back.
They're going to get it even if it's feeling.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, yeah, you don't mess up with Sophia Lopez. Like, you know, part of my character and my story, like, I've been working with the ex-president of Mexico, with Vicente Fox. I've been with, you know, a lot of important people that keeps my character alive and makes me feel like I'm protected, you know, no matter what. Even though I have to fight on the ring, I know I'm going to pull it off.
Okay. Now, we have to go flip over to Frost. You know, one of the things I do remember about it is there were some vignettes that were produced. I guess basically explaining who Azucar is and was, and the purpose behind the mask and everything. Whose idea was that? Who put that together?
It was part of them and part with me, since the whole idea of getting, I mean, the production, but the whole idea of me getting the mask and finding somebody who would be able to do the design that I had in mind, and Juan Guerrero, and finding him, and I was like, bring a camera, let's go through this whole process. So it was important to me for people to know where I was coming from, because every time, like, I remember I came into training, I didn't have my mask yet, so I came with a Blue Demon mask, and everybody was like, "Who's this girl, and why is she hiding?" I'm like, "It's not hiding," and it was important for me to make people understand that I was not hiding. I was being truthful to my culture, and it's important. A lot of people misinterpret the mask as a hiding or this or that, and it's a stamp of our culture. And it was important to me to get it out there, so I asked for it, and then it was we worked together to get it.
Okay, so for anybody that went back and watched, and I'm going to suggest that anybody that's listening that hasn't done it, you go back to season 2. I believe that should be there, and you can see the vignettes that I'm talking about and the match that she's speaking of. But all of that, as you're telling me now, that was 100% legit. It wasn't a script. It wasn't like, oh yeah, hey, we're going to assign you a Azucar and we're going to give you a mask. You brought that to the table. You were legitimately pushing for, hey, I want to represent here.
Yes, no, absolutely. I came in and and it was like, David,
no, right?
David was like, "No, but why do you want to hide your beautiful face? It's not that beautiful. Start with that." But
don't downplay yourself now. You're an actress.
She's a liar.
But it's true. Like, they were doubting. I was like, "Well, whether you take me with a mask or you don't take me." And I think David saw so much. Like, I was going for it, and I was going with the mask. Even Selena was like, "Take that mask off," and I'm like, "No." Take the mask off, no, because
even La Niña said, "I think this girl is ugly because she's covering her face with a mask."
But do you see all these misconceptions of, like, why do I have to wear a mask when there's so much tradition behind it? And even when I designed the mask, it has a lot of meaning. It has a lot of meaning. It's the swan that comes in. There's a huge thing. It's about people reaching their full potential. It's about finding your alter ego to be the best you can be. And because I think when you have even a little bit of a public position, you have a certain responsibility. And I am here to try to make this world better. So it was important to me, all of this. So yeah, no, nothing of this was like scripted and was like, okay, so now we're gonna do this. It was like, yes, I was godfathered into the sport, and it was like the training was a little more gentle, and everything was not as hard as it is in I'm gonna quote unquote the real wrestling world. But the whole Azucar is real. She's 100% real, and she's 100% like part of my heart. And yeah, I mean, of course, when you're producing something, you have to tweak here and there, and you have cameras, and you have to, like, when you're producing the vignette. But the whole story and the whole background and the whole everything behind Azucar is absolutely real.
Well, I gotta say, I absolutely love this respect that you have just across the board. I mean, you like, from heritage to indie wrestling, you give it up all the way around. So, props to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, that gave me goosebumps. I'm achieving something. That's good.
You're achieving that I won't represent you anymore.
You have to represent. No, you can't represent her. You have to try to go after her. That's the key. That's the story. You got to try to go after her.
It is a good storyline. It is a good. I actually like it because it has a lot of potential, like a lot.
Yeah, see, Azucar is pure.
Yes.
You have to go out there. She has to turn you down. You have to see her lose a couple more times, and then you have to approach her at her lowest moment. I can help you win if you just come with me.
Yeah, and then let's test my heart. I like it.
until she finds out that you orchestrated those losses all along, and then she comes for revenge, and then you get to be the person that puts Sophia Lopez
Oh my
in the
God.
ring, and then bam, there you go. So you tie up
Okay,
all of
this
those
has
things
to
all
be
at once.
All this is going into the podcast, right? Because I didn't take notes.
Yes, all of this is going into the podcast.
Perfect.
But see, now you have to return in order for that to happen.
Of course. Of course. But see, this fires me up because it's not, for me, it's not just, it's about a message, and it's about for me, it's about message, and it's about many other things than, it goes way beyond wrestling. Wrestling is not just the sport. It's the idea of good versus evil, and it's the idea of like humanity at its rawness, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And these storylines are the ones that make me thrive. These are the ones that I'm like, oh, okay, I can deal with the pain because we're going for something greater than just my body.
All right.
So.
That's high praise. Now, most people that listen to these podcasts and ask questions about WoW. Now, I don't know how I started getting funneled questions about WoW, but every so often I'll get it. So, one of the things I hear is like, when are you guys coming back? When are you coming on? And that seems to be like the ongoing theme. That when it comes back, it kind of it goes into hiatus, and then it comes back, and then it goes back into hiatus. To the best of your knowledge, what is the hiatus spots mainly about? Is there something that you can say for them to really understand why WoW is not just a consistent wrestling entity?
Oof. I'm gonna,
and that's open for
Azucar,
both
talk
of
to you. Like as I said, if you get to know David McLean and Selena Majors, they really love wrestling. They do. I mean, their soul, their life, their passion, their mind, body, everything is into wrestling. And unfortunately, like sometimes they've been trying, not them, but the people that they put the money or whoever, I don't know. They're trying to change WoW and go more. WoW is a family show. WoW is not like that sexy. It's not like, the boobies. It's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is, as Azucar said, it's more about like the superheroes, that evil versus good and things like that. And, sometimes like David is been fighting so much for that idea for a family show. And he's been trapped in, like, if he doesn't... He won't settle. Yeah, he won't settle. Like, some people, they want more sexy. They want more other things, right? So if he doesn't settle, then that's why, it kind of takes the hiatus time, and he's negotiating. It's a lot of things, for real.
The truth is that we're all asking the same question. He's like, where are we coming back? At least I was before I had my baby. I was like, where are we coming back? What is going on? It's like, I'm dying to get into that ring. And you go and find another ring, and it's not the same. But, which is crazy. But I think it's more about that. It's like they won't sell out for anything. They're true to what they want, and they're true to the message they want to give. And that takes time, and that sometimes people go on board, and then it comes, they break the ship, so they have to repair the ship and go back into the ocean, and then it's a vast ocean. I'm very metaphorical.
No, but I mean, the whole point is that it's like, and that's why I respect David and Selena, because they really, really, really love wrestling. I mean, David was the creator of Glow. I mean, the whole idea of Glow, and he was a little boy, and this was his dream ever since he was a little boy. And so Selena, and it's their life. Their life. It's not like a joke. It's not just a business. It's not just a show. Anything. It's their life, and that's why, as Azucar said, we respect, and then we just are waiting for the call because we're just waiting, like, when are we going back?
Send a text message here and there, and you're like, what's going on?
You know, I totally get that, and I bring that up mainly because I know some people out there don't necessarily get the idea as to why. You know, like I've seen some people make suggestions, and I'm like, you know, it's not that easy. Like, well, just go on YouTube. Like, dude, it's not quite that easy. You know, just to take to decide that, well, we're not going to recoup the thousands of dollars that we put in this and just stick it on YouTube. You know.
Exactly. And it's thousands of dollars, and there's a huge production value, and there's and it's hard. It's hard to get it out there. It's hard to sell. It's hard to produce. It's hard to create these things. It's hard to keep a team together and stay put, you know, because life happens.
Yeah.
Like Sophia, I moved to Mexico. I had a baby.
I've seen several of them kind of walk in and out, and that's not a knock on the Wild, but as you just said, life happens when you're taping in 2012 and it doesn't air till 2 years later. I mean, it's hard to expect everybody to stick to it. I mean, so you got yourself, Frost, Sunshine, Tadevik.
Yeah.
I think half of the new crop that came in that season basically disappeared. Fire or whatever, you know.
And some people become cuckoo, like so then.
And then you have people that even started training, and during training, like Lady London, she broke her elbow in 3 parts.
Oh,
you know,
crap.
protecting Sunshine.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah,
we were there.
It was insane.
I never, you know, I always want to know. I was like, where did she go? You know, because I don't think she ever had a match, did she?
No, it was actually before going to Vegas.
It was right. Yeah, it was so sad because actually, Lady London and I, we wanted to tag team and be the internationals. It was very exciting. I mean, she's amazing as a human being and as a sportsman or sportswoman.
Isn't she a stunt woman by trade?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
She is her dad, I think. He did all the stunts with the whip for Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And she's huge. She does a lot of horses. She was in Wonder Woman doing stunts and horses, and
cool.
She's amazing with a whip. She can whip you.
Wait a minute.
There was a lot. She was gonna pull out the whip. She's amazing. She's
she's
in London. Yeah, she wanted to come in a horse. She has she can be running in a horse, like standing up and whip a can and throw it and make a basketball.
Those are really great stories, but before we go any further, thanks for listening to the Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling podcast. And if you like what you're hearing and you're a pro wrestling fan, then support us and your favorite pro wrestlers by buying your Collar & Elbow brand shirts available at collarandelbowbrand.com. They've got a huge selection of shirts and branded clothing to suit your taste. Go to the Collar & Elbow brand store on their website and check out the No Count Out, No DQ shirt or the iconic shirt, which is the famous font of the Pro Wrestling magazine. Maybe you're a fan of a particular Chicago-based former wrestler / MMA fighter. Then you want the Wendy shirt. Or how about the great designs on the Collar & Elbow brand established in metal shirts? Or, if you really want some cool designs, check out the Signature Series. The Good Brothers Dojo, Simon's Gym, Planet of the Capes, and the Crown Jewel Chase Owens shirts are all available right now at collarandelbowbrand.com. Make sure you use our code WPNRussell and save yourself 10% on your purchase. That's 10% off of your purchase by using our promo code WPNRussell, and you'll support us in the process. Head over to the site, throw our code in at checkout, and make sure you support everybody that's in this wrestling game. That's checkout code WPNRussell, WPNRussell. Now I have to ask, because you know you brought it up. I have to hear a little bit of this story. So she broke her arm in 3 places protecting Sunshine. Well, that's noble of her. But what caused this protection to where she would bust her arm up?
She was landing an elbow on Sunshine, and Sunshine moved, and she was gonna land it like straight on Sunshine's rib, and in order not to hurt Sunshine, she moved her arm and she landed in her elbow, and she broke it in 3 places.
And let's rope that thing back around. We just said earlier, gruesome injuries have happened inside of wrestling rings, and there's an example of it. Broken bones.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah. It was insane. She didn't, like, not even, she was like, ouch. I think I need to go to the hospital. Well, in her,
Yeah, she
was
wasn't even
more like,
complaining, yeah.
oh, I think I need to go to the hospital. And I took her to the hospital, and, it was David, Lady London, and me, and she was so brave. She was, then she went through 2 surgeries, and she recovered fully, and she wanted to come back, and David was like, it's a little too soon.
Well, I mean, she's a stunt woman, so, I mean, I'm sure the pain just kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah, she's used to it.
Now,
she's good.
Now, I will say, just for those that have followed this WOW documentation that I've been doing through these various podcasts and reviews of that season, and this is just a sidebar here. That probably was the most critical episode that I've ever had, the Sunshine Lana Star match. Like, this thing was a minute and a half and it was over. It's like,
I know.
what is that about? I'm sorry. I called it good. I called it bad. I was like, oh, what was this?
Sometimes you're just introducing characters. That's what happens. Sometimes, there is not enough time, as we say, it's a lot behind of like production time. I mean, et cetera, but it's a way to introduce characters. So that was kind of like a quick introduction.
Well,
but they had a good match.
And I'm glad you said that, because that was the criticism that I had. I was like, it's Sunshine's first match. She shouldn't be loose. She shouldn't be squashed inside of a minute and a half. But that's me. If I don't mind her losing, because Lana was the champion. But she was also the established name. And if we're trying to introduce this new girl, this new character to the audience, and make her look believable and make her look like she's a, quote, contender to the title, she got to give her a run for her money.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, that's just me.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, she was a joke for Lana at that moment, like... I mean...
I don't know. But, I don't know, things happen and decisions are made, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I see your point. And I respect it, and I kind of agree. But things happen, and I don't know, some decisions are made, and...
Oh, yeah. Now don't get me wrong. There is one thing that I have come to realize when we talk about wrestling and the entertainment world and stuff like that. I mean, yes, I could be right in that, but they're right too. Like there's 1,000 right ways to get to whatever it is you're trying to get to.
Actually, I think that Lady London's, now that I'm thinking of it, I think Lady London's accident was what happened that made that match happen. Because suddenly it was like Lady London versus Sunshine, and she got her elbow busted, and it was a last-minute thing, I think. I'm not like 100% sure, but I think that's exactly what happened. That Lady London, they were going to fight. Lady London breaks her elbow, and Lana goes like, okay, I'll take her,
Okay, well,
don't fully quote me on that.
Well,
Don't lie. But
I won't hold you to that, but that explanation sounds as good as any. So hey, it works for me. Now,
okay.
I will, Sophia. I want to ask you. You came into an established act also. I just mentioned Lana Star being an established act, a holdover from the 2001 season 1 of WOW. you walked into an established act with Cage Heat. Now, did that intimidate you at all? How was it for you joining this group, more or less?
You know what? As I said, like at the beginning, I was like chicken out. I was like, I remember I saw Loca. Actually, I remember even the first day I saw Spike. I was, oh my goodness, like I'm not gonna leave this place alive. So yeah, I was totally intimidated by everyone. I remember asking Loca, are you girls going cuckoo? Like this guy that bite this other guy ear. I couldn't remember even the name. I was like,
Mike
those things
Tyson.
that happen here. Yeah, and I was telling her like that. Those things that happen here on the rings, or in sports. Have you met any girl that goes really cuckoo? Because I was seriously totally intimidated. I remember I even watched the videos of Loca and Delta from 2001. I was, oh my goodness, like this girl. I don't even want to meet her because Delta was in Atlanta, and I was like, I don't even want to see this girl. And but little by little, I started like getting my confidence. I started, training. I was like, I have those 2 kids, and I want to be the hero, so I should get this right,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I started gaining my confidence and training hard, keep going. I remember, I was the last one that they gave me my contract, and Selena was kind of like, she deserved it. Like, no matter what, I kept going, and I kept going, and I was like, I even brought my kids one time to the ring, and they were so little, and she's like, you know what, she deserves her contract. Because I never quit. But yeah, I was totally intimidated by everybody.
Well, I will say now that was a little bit of a I don't want to say trick question, but some of that I was aware of because your buddy Loca spoke highly of you and your willingness to keep going.
Yeah, and
I
what?
did have some insight to that before I asked the question, but I just want to put that out.
Yeah, and you know what? At the same time, if you think about it, it's like I needed to make allies.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was afraid of Loca and Delta, it's like, and they look kind of like hard for me, I was like, you know what? These are the first one that I'm going to go for it and make allies because as I said, at the end of the day, everything could happen in that ring. Like everything. Like
Allies.
allies. What did I say?
They make allies.
Allies.
Yeah.
Allies.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
I knew what you
know
meant. I got you. I'm with you.
Yeah, are you still making fun of my accent? See, this is unbelievable. Like people.
I'm not making fun. It took me a second.
They didn't put subtitles in some of the episodes. Like seriously.
I got you in context of what you were saying. I was able to put it together. Now back to the ring, Azucar. Did you have a match other than Frost? Because I thought there was some stuff that was taped that never made air.
No, it was like this thing started with Frost cheating. So my beef was with Frost, and I wanted to finish that first, and then keep on going. So no, I didn't have other matches than with Frost. But
it's just the one, right?
Frost was quite strong. Just going after her. So and I really wanted to take Caged Heat actually with Lady London. Like we were planning on it. We were like, oh, they're going down. But it didn't happen.
Well, plans changed, but so that's a behind the scenes story there of something I guess would have been if London had stuck around. But that match is the one and only match that you have on Wild TV.
We had two.
Yeah, two. Okay. So
yeah, we had two. I had two with Frost.
Vegas.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. So
it's okay.
I can't remember I was doing good there for a while, but
No, you're doing fantastic. You remember more than me.
So you had the two matches, and we already have established why you didn't come back because your life kicked in, and it became mom. Uh,
Yes.
were you approached following that? I mean, when did they go back for the fourth season? Was that 2016, I think?
Mhm.
Were you called
Yeah.
and like, hey, are you ready?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was cold and I was pregnant.
Oh,
That's when it
okay. So,
happened.
all right, okay, I got you. So the pregnancy happened right before the third season. Uh,
Yes.
so you missed all the Belasco stuff. Oh man, I guess that's a little sad, but yeah.
I
But,
know.
I know. That was super cool.
Yeah.
well, the Belasco is a much better venue in my view. I like that venue more than I did Vegas for
That's where I
TV
was.
purposes.
Yeah. And that's where I was going to show up with my pregnant belly.
Ah, yes, there we go. All right, I remember now. That you said you're gonna get in the
Yeah.
front row.
I actually. It's funny because I had a whole team of moms for the second show in the Velasco. I had a whole team of moms that we were going to all show up with babies and in masks. It didn't happen. Didn't happen, but it was going to be a whole thing.
Well,
It was,
The Mama's Club.
yeah, I had this whole thing. We were going to be like a whole, let's bring back Azucar kind of thing.
that'd have been cool.
Uh,
Bring some signs.
it was,
Nah,
yeah, it was going to be a silent, it was not going to be a science, but we were all going to come with Azucar masks and just sit down and have like a flash mob of Azucar.
now the other half of
And everyone with babies.
excuse me. The other half of that match thing that I wanted to ask you about is I've always heard that some bookers have the idea like, hey, I know these two wrestlers don't necessarily get along, but it makes for great TV or is good chemistry. Were you booked to go against Frost before or after they knew that y'all had some issues?
Actually, before.
Before.
And yeah, and as it happened, like after our first match, that's when, I mean, she went stiff on me in our first match. I still have a hip chipped. And that's where it all started.
Ah, okay. Well, that ain't cool.
No,
No.
no, it's not. I truly have like a chip in my hip.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess that's a constant reminder to you.
Yeah. About right.
You can get rid of that.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm also very stubborn. So I was like, they're like, and you? I'm like, I'm going after Frost. But I'm going, well, let me just bring her really down, and then I'll go for the next one.
See, I think we need to bring Frost back so we can bring Azucar back, and then
She's not coming back. I've seen her Instagram. I sincerely doubt that her and I forget the other, was it Desdemona or something like that.
yeah.
They essentially posted like everything's groovy on the stunt world, so I don't perceive them as turning around and going back. Storylines or forgotten or lost storylines, because I get the impression that there were a couple of would-be stories that would have taken place but didn't quite get to because of people leave or the hiatus or whatever the case may be. Are there any storylines that you are aware of that you were supposed to be in that just hadn't taken place? And I'm talking to Azucar first, Sophia after that.
No, actually, I don't. No, I don't know what were the plans. Again, I've always wanted to take Caged Heat. Loca specifically.
Okay, why Loca specifically? Why you just feel like you'd have a better match with her?
Because I respect my friends and I respect my enemies a little bit more. Have to. And I respect Loca. She's bad, but she has her thing, and I would like to take her and see what she's made of. That's one. And I would have loved to go with Jungle Girl. I don't know if I would have been given that privilege.
You might have. Who knows?
They might. Who knows? Exactly. I mean, I asked for it because I'm very proactive. So I tried. I always was like, I want this, I want that. You know, I was trying to get what I wanted. So yeah, those were two matches that I would have loved to have, but I don't know if they were in the plans or not, to be honest.
Okay, well, now Sophia, on the other side of that, your storylines have been laid out pretty flush. I mean, from coming and representing Cage Heat and getting them out of jail and getting the belts back, and that whole shebang. Has it always been that story where it was going to be, hey, you're going to represent the tag team champions, and you're going to have a feud with the All American girls, and then we got to kind of pick it up from there? Has that always been the case, or did they give you another pitch for an angle or a storyline that you're aware of?
Yeah, it didn't happen, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen later on, so I don't think I can say much about it.
Okay.
But yes, there are different storylines
Okay.
waiting or on the line.
Well, no, that's fair. No, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to blow anything. And if you got something coming up, and it's possible that you may have that storyline kick in, that's all well and fine. Do you also get proactive as Azucar does and say, hey, you know what, this is what I would like to do?
Oh, yeah. It was at some point at the very, beginning when I decided to be a manager, that all of a sudden, after that first, match on Vegas, I was like, wow, this is too much adrenaline. I love it. I can't live without it. And then I said, oh, yeah, I'm ready to fight. So I'm so ready to fight and, build my character. I don't care. And I was so ready and to start taking, girls. And at that point, we wanted to take Tropical Storm. So we're like, oh, I'm so ready for La Niña, or, So, but then, then at that point, it was too late because we decided to take the other route of building the character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then we had a second match, in Vegas, and then Tropical Storm wasn't there anymore, and everything changed. So we need to go with the flow, and that's it.
Okay. Well, you've been sticking around so far. So, how long did Tropical Storms? What are they like? Did they only do a match? Did they do more than that?
Yeah.
Just the one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think they did one only. I want to remember if they did two in Vegas, but I think it's maybe two. I'm trying to remember, but for sure, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Do you remember Tropical Storm doing one or two matches? Was it only one?
I remember.
Because I know they went to Vegas.
One, yeah, the first
but I
time.
Think the
first time for sure, but I don't know the second time they were.
Yeah, I think it was only once, right?
I think so.
See, now I only recall them with the Bully Busters. I just thought that you guys might have another match or something like that you could possibly know about. I mean, because I assume that some of this stuff just is sitting on a shelf somewhere or in somebody's hard drive of matches that just never got produced or something like that. I could be wrong, but I just assume.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, because sometimes, there is so many plans and then you cannot, produce them all or things like that, but yeah.
Yeah, there are a couple of storylines with me that I was like, let's maybe change it. And then David was like, yeah, you're right. And then there were a couple of times that David would come in like, are you sure you want that? And then I was like, maybe not. So,
I think that's the beauty of this. Like, at the end of the day, you really get to create and become your character. And I think that's part of the beauty.
Now, it would be unfair if I did not go back and address your IMDb and your acting credit. Of course, your demo reel. And so, for anybody that's interested, I'm going to put the link to I call her Sophia Lopez, but it's going to be listed as differently on her demo reel for anybody that's asking. But I'm going to put the link down there so they can see your acting talent on display. I would ask Azucar, but she's also trying to remain a mystery, so I don't think I can do the same for her. But I do want to know between the two of you. Most times when I do talk to actors and actresses and whatnot, there's a genre or a style that they kind of gravitate towards more than others. So, just for the sake of knowing, as an actress, what do you like to do? What do you prefer? Or is there a preference?
Comedy.
Okay, well, there we go, comedies.
Azucar.
I do stand-up comedy.
She could be like, what's her name? Like a lot we were watching not too long ago. No.
I actually do stand-up comedy, and I've done it as Azucar, which is very
Oh,
fun.
yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Now how you
That's in
well, I
Mexico,
guess it
right?
doesn't matter because you're not doing it on TV, but it's I, unless you get on television doing Azucar, there's no problems, right? There's no trademark or copyright
Well,
that can come after you.
No, well, I own Azucar
Oh, you
because
do?
I created it.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
I created her. She's like, I actually called David and I asked, and he said she's you. You created her. I designed the mask. I created her backstory, which is kind of part of my backstory, and like everything about Azucar is me.
Okay.
So it's even written in the contract.
Ah.
That's good.
So
Yeah,
comedy is your
like
thing.
Yeah, and for me, I really love to be like a chameleon. I love, the chameleon actors like Ari Oldman. I think he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to do everything. Sometimes I like to be the villain. Sometimes I like to be the sweet. Sometimes I like to be, the strong, the sick. So I've been kind of playing the sick. Seriously, like I played everything. Some things more than others, or like in different kind of projects. But at the end of the day, I like to be a chameleon actress. That's what I like.
Okay. Well, apparently you do a pretty good job of that. I know that I'm pulling back the curtain here, because we've been referring to you as Sophia Lopez, but again, the link is going to be listed below. So I guess that there's no secret here. Leslie Garza, I hope I'm saying that correctly. But Leslie Garza is the demo reel that you're going to be looking at. If you click the links in the comment section underneath this podcast, wherever you happen to be listening to it, whether that be YouTube or iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, so on and so forth. So you got a couple of different locations, guys, to click that link. Check her out. See her outside of being the greatest attorney in the world. She's got quite the variety listed on there. But don't be bugging her about unless you got some legitimate acting roles that you're trying to get. So these things are for business. Just so you know. Now, as far as Azucar's stand-up comedy, I guess we'll never really see that unless she has video of her with that mask on that she's gonna share somewhere.
Do you?
I do, of course. I walk everywhere with my mask on when I do my stand-up comedy with the mask. Yeah, it happens.
You should send you the link.
And
Do you have them on YouTube?
No, of course not. I don't have them. Record it? No, I don't have them recorded.
Uh-oh.
I have a pilot with Azucar doing stand-up, but that's not even. It's all in the works yet. We're working on it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you are so kind that you want to share that on the Women's Pro Wrestling Network page or YouTube channel or something like that, feel free to contact me and let me know, and let me share that with the people that follow this stuff and want to get to know you guys. So.
Thank you. Yes.
Well,
When we get it out there.
Yeah, let Brian be the first one. Let him be the first one.
That's
Yeah, you know,
right.
like it's so funny because talking about the chameleon thing, you know, one time a producer, because I was hosting a show in a network called Global TV, that the producer said, you know, you're so sweet. I don't think you can play like an evil character. I'm like, oh yeah, like wait a minute, you don't know me. But that's where I feel more challenged to do something that sometimes I'm not. You know, like actors, like sometimes you want to play the opposite. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, now that might be interesting. You know, could you just show up with the mask on and make people think Azucar came back? Ah,
I know, right? We can trick everyone. I don't think that about it.
see,
Yeah.
see now look at that. I just gave you another. You're still in the middle of the tag team tournament. You just have Azucar show up with a partner up against Cage Heat in the second bracket, and then you have Cage Heat wrestle whoever this partner happens to be, and she finally gets the tag to Azucar, and Azucar turns on her, gets the pin, and we pull the mask off, and we see Sophia Lopez, the greatest attorney in the world.
That'll be funny. And you know, who knows? Like, as I said, everything could happen in the ring.
Check my mask.
Yeah, you know, like Brian, you know, like I just came to have dinner. Like, you don't have to give us more ideas.
Well, the ideas stand. They're in the podcast. They will be there for as long as the podcast exists. So you can always kind of scroll through that and pick out whichever ones you like, if you like them at all. So you'll have a point of reference for these things.
Thank you.
And plus, I mean, Azucar is worried that now I have her.
Well, I'm just saying, within the WoW universe, that would work, because people already know Azucar, and then once they play it up, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
she's back. And then you pull off the mask.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bam.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I kind of like it. It's funny.
See, I think this is your sign that you need to go back when they pop back
Yeah,
up
I
on the
keep
air.
telling her that. I guess this is more on you. I think this is more on you than on David. Like, you should. Yeah, you should.
If I tell David, can I come back? He'll be like,
Of course. Like, it's just on you. So if you don't see her, just blame her.
I hope he says, yeah, come back.
If you don't see her, just blame Azucar. It's all her fault.
Oh.
It's always easier to have somebody to blame.
All I can say is, look, if you happen to go back, just say, just give credit to me in some way, somehow, that, hey, I'm here because of that podcast.
Of course.
If you do that, then
You're scaring the fire.
Well, we demonstrate that we're loyal. See, we're loyal to WoW, so we're loyal. We're loyal people.
Yeah.
Well, bless your heart. Yes. Both of you are sweet ladies, and I appreciate it. That.
Thank you. It's literally sweet.
It's literally sweet. I don't know. You made out of candy or some chocolate or something. Literally.
Well, it's sugar.
Yeah.
It's in sugar, and it comes, and it all comes from the little sugar skulls for the Day of the Dead in Mexico, like the Mexican celebration, and this was way before cocoa.
Oh.
Yeah. That's true.
See,
Yeah.
Well, now I've learned
that's
something
why,
new.
So yeah, it's funny because there was a moment there where it's like, can sugar become a heel? Well, maybe, because sugar, even though it's sweet, it kills you. So
I know, with diabetes. She can give you diabetes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. My moves are going to be diabetes. Die slowly.
Oh gosh.
Cavity. The cavity.
My move is
I know.
going to be diabetes. I'm not even sure how you could perform that. Here she is off the rope. Diabetes. Oh my God.
That's what's funny.
Oh, whew. We've taken a bad turn here, folks. I know. I'm sorry.
I know, you guys are crazy. Okay.
And closing, because I know you ladies have to. What time is there? Like 10 o'clock or something?
11, almost 11, yeah.
Almost 11. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm off my my time frame here, because it's almost 2 a.m. where I am. But well, I'm a night owl. I'm up like that. So, but I do want to say on air, thank you both for coming on to the show and sharing your time and some of your experiences of being on WoW and outside of WoW for that matter. I was not expecting this bonus guest of having Azucar. Thank you very much. And Sophia, thank you for
See what can
providing her.
Sophia Lopez do for you? Can you appreciate what Sophia Lopez can do for you? I had all these surprise, an extra bonus, 2 for 1.
I do appreciate what you've done for me. And now if I could just get you to be a good girl and not cheat in the ring, then we'll be all gravy.
I don't know if that can happen.
we got to get you away from your heelish tendencies and be good.
And thank you so much for having me as well. I'm just surprised. You were awesome remembering all these things and facts, so thank you.
Well, it is my job, I guess. Maybe not the full-time gig, but when you're running a podcast, I guess you got to know a little bit of something here and there. So I try my best, and I do appreciate you both for going along with this whole thing, and hopefully it has given you the fire that you need to call Mr. McClain up and say, "Hey, I'm putting the mask back on. I'm getting back in the ring."
Okay.
And David McClain,
I'm thinking about it.
because I'm assuming that you, David McClain, out there listening to this somewhere, sometime, somehow, you owe me a podcast, dude. I emailed you before. We talked about it then. I'm holding you to that because I got a bunch of stuff to question you about. So I'm putting that out in the universe now. It's there. McClain and Jeannie Buss, both of you.
Mr. David McClain.
There you go.
Yes.
It's gonna happen, Brian. It's gonna happen. So you should have talked to me. I could have persuaded David to have that podcast with you, but we'll see. No, but thank you so much for everything, and we keep in touch.
Thank you very much, ladies. You both have a good night.
Thank you. You too. Sleep tight.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WPN's Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling. If you have questions or comments, please contact us via our Facebook or our YouTube channel at the Women's Pro Wrestling Network. If you're new to the WPN, feel free to subscribe to our channel and like our page. We appreciate your support. Thank you again for listening.